Alright, let's go to 1,000.
You ready for 1,000?
So here's the deal. I got kind of tired of people telling me that AK wasn't accurate. So we decided to build an AK-74 chamber in 224 Valkyrie capable of hitting at 1,000 yards. Literally just for the hell of it. So last time you saw this gun, we were shooting it at 800 yards. Today we're out here at frontline defense. Gonna take it out to 1,000. Let's do it.
Right off left edge.
Barely. Yeah, barely low and left.
Send
it. Hit.
Man.
You sure as hell can't do that, can you?
Yeah. That's 800?
800.
Alright, let's go to 1,000.
You ready for 1,000?
I'm ready for 9-4, it says.
Go to 1,000.
Hit. First round hit.
Holy shit.
I've seen it actually move.
Yeah, there's a flasher on it. First round hit at 1,000.
Wow.
You got an AK to shoot 1,000
Well done.
yards.
There you go.
That was all you, dude.
I know.
Holy hell. I think that's the first time that's
That
ever
was
happened.
dead center.
Hey. You got an AK to shoot 1,000 yards.
AK that shoots 1,000 yards. And on an intermediate round, too. Not a crazy like 308, 30-06, nothing like that. We got an AK-74 to shoot 1,000 yards, first round hit.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Badass.
Oh.
Send it. Very bottom.
Oh.
Send it.
There it is.
1,000-yard hit right there. There it was. We got a 1,000-yard AK. So there you guys have it. Basically, on a bet, we built an AK in 224 Valkyrie that's capable of shooting 1,000 yards, pretty much just for the hell of it. So I figured before we kind of let this series lapse, I wanted to go over a couple of the parts that we had on this. I wanted to kind of thank a couple of people, but really show what made this gun capable of doing what it was doing. So let's just start with the base gun itself. This is an AK-74 that was built on just a regular Bulgarian AK-74 parts kit, Morrissey receiver. Trigger is an ALG AKT. Love those triggers. More than capable of doing what you saw. Makes it a lot easier than surplus triggers or like a G2 or something like that. So I've actually been a long time believer in that trigger group. The optic mount that we started with was a Saberworks KOP. Love those guys to death. It just couldn't handle the heavy optic. It was designed for AK optics. It was designed for, AK style scopes, red dots, holographic sights, whatever. We were using a very, very heavy optic. I think it was like 33 plus ounces, not including the mount or anything like that. So it was really stretching it. With the recoil, we kind of explained it in an earlier video, but it was just kind of, it was so far away, and all the weight was at the very, very end of that long optic mount. It was really just stressing it out. So we ended up moving to the RS Regulate side rail. This was honestly kind of a gamble. Even the owner of RS Regulate was kind of curious if it was going to be able to handle it as well, but it handled like a champ. Very impressed with this mount. We're pushing this, with this optic, we are pushing this rifle platform farther than it should have gone, frankly. There's no mounts that were really meant for an optic like that to go on an AK, so very impressed with the way that optic mount handled. Going forward, we have an SLR Rifle Works M-Lock rail. Very cool rail, like it a lot. JMac Customs GBC 13 gas block combo, and just a silencer co muzzle brake that we threw on there. A friend gave it to me, and so we just kind of threw that on. Moving on to the real star of the show, we have the US Optics B17. Now this is a hoss of an optic. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't even know what the hell to do with an optic like this. In fact, I'm fairly uncomfortable holding it for long periods of time because it's also a very expensive optic. So let me just take an opportunity to thank our friends at US Optics for trusting me enough to send this out. I wouldn't have trusted me with this optic, so thanks for the leap of faith, guys. Beyond the optic, the mount is actually a Zero Delta mount. This was actually borrowed from MJ Younger, who was our shooter, who did an incredible job, by the way. He You know, he even stayed in town an extra couple of weeks so we could pull off that 1,000-yard shot. So I can't thank him enough. He did a fantastic job, and funny enough, he was actually the first person to ever buy a rifle from my company. So he's a cool dude, and he you know, took a couple of leaps of faith on the company. So I appreciate it, and thanks for lending them out. And him being the first person to buy a rifle from the company is actually just kind of a really cool way to bring things full circle. Now, as far as what we had to do to this AK-74 to make it 224 Valkyrie in the first place, the first thing is the barrel. Now, 224 Valkyrie AK barrels don't exist. So what we basically had to do is buy a 224 caliber barrel blank that was a 1-to-7 twist, and I had to basically design a barrel from scratch. We had to design, chamber, turn on a lathe, a brand new barrel. And so I wanted to take an opportunity again to thank Chris from Mad Customs. You guys know him from a lot of the AK-50 work. He was my mentor for a good bit on gunsmithing and machining and stuff in the early days, and he's still teaching me new stuff every week. So I wanted to give a really big shout out to Chris at Mad Custom, and yeah, he helped out a lot on the barrel of this project. But basically I came with him with the design, we talked it over, and we turned this barrel. Basically we kept it as thick as we possibly could. It's a little bit thinner than I would have liked, but we had to keep it gas block diameter. We kept it just a hair. It was to let it slide over so we could press it on the gas block under gas block dimension. So we kept it as thick as we could on a standard AK-74 frame, because I wanted to keep this as close to a standard AK-74 as we could. I believe we used a 22-inch barrel, and yeah, basically it's a 1-to-7 twist, 22-inch barrel, 224 Valkyrie AK. It's kind of cool. We did also have to mill out a little bit on the bolt, do a couple other things, because the bolt itself, obviously a 545 is a lot smaller in diameter than 224 Valkyrie, since the parent case is 6.8 special. As far as magazine feed, funny enough, 5.45 magazines, the standard magazines that would fit this gun, feed 224 almost flawlessly up to about 10 rounds. So what we did is we took a 10-round magazine, fits 9 rounds of 224 Valkyrie just fine, and we were using that, and I don't think we ever had a mag-related malfunction the entire time. So it was actually just kind of cool. I thought we were going to have to do this expensive AR-15 magazine conversion, all this stuff, really intrusive, would have cost a fortune, especially if we're doing a couple of these. And yeah, it turns out it's AK-74 mags kind of work, so that was fortuitous. So yeah, unless I missed anything, that is a complete technical rundown of the gun. This is a standard AK-74 style frame that was capable of hitting at 1,000 yards. Don't know if that's ever been done on an AK. I'm hesitant to call it a world record, but at the same time, because anything will hit at 1,000 yards if you have enough ammo. You can get a handgun to hit at 1,000 yards if you've got 5,000 rounds laying around and just get one lucky hit. This thing was repeatable at 1,000. So that's, I don't know. I don't know if it's ever been done before, but regardless, we did it. Not only just repeatable, but literally first round hit at 1,000 yards. That blew me away. I was not expecting that. I was expecting to dance around it for a little while before we dialed it in, but that was very cool. I can take zero credit for that. That was entirely on our shooter. So now that we've done a full tech breakdown of what constitutes this AK-224, there's a couple of things that I really wanted to say. One of them is, the future of this gun, what this gun holds. I was not expecting this to really be a big seller. This is something we really kind of just did for the hell of it. But we did have a pre-order period open, and we did get actually a handful of pre-orders. So I guess we're going to do a small run of these. We're going to look into the logistics of doing multiple barrels and things like that, and really kind of locate some kits and see if we can't throw together something. But right now, if you want to be added to the pre-order list, it's on the akguy.com. It's a $500 deposit, and that goes toward what the final price will be. That's undetermined right now. We have a vague range of what we think it's going to cost, but we're keeping it sub $2,000. But if you want a 1,000-yard capable AK in 224, probably one of the only ones that's ever going to exist, unless somebody else out there thinks that they can have a better swing at it. Go ahead and go to the akguy.com and reserve your spot. Either way, this gun right here is going to our friend at Tundra Tactical, Tyler. He is going to mess around with it for a couple of weeks, and he's going to compare it to his AR-15 in 224 Valkyrie and kind of compare the two. I'm really curious to see what kind of results he comes out with. After that, it's coming right back here, and I am holding up my end of the bargain that I made to you guys, specifically you guys that have donated to the Patreon. So I never really wanted to have a Patreon for the videos. It just didn't feel right, especially since I had the company and everything like that. But
I found a compromise with it because I like doing crazy projects like this that I know really won't sell enough to make it worth my time. Sometimes stuff I can't sell or stuff that nobody would buy in a million years, but makes for good internet. So we started a Patreon for some of that stuff because you guys wanted to see it. I knew I couldn't dump the R&D time and money and whatnot into making it, but that's offsetting the cost. So as part of that arrangement, as my thank you to you guys for making stuff like this happen, I am giving away this AK-224 to a lucky Patreon patron. And we're going to do that for all the prototype crazy stuff that we have coming up in the future that's paid for by the Patreon. So any prototyping that we do that is paid for by the Patreon patrons, when we are finished with it, you will get the prototype that we worked on. So it's kind of a cool, I think it's cool. So you guys have a chance to win some of the stuff that we're working on here, so it's kind of my thank you. We also got a couple of little things, like once we reach above $2,000 a month, which is really close right now, we're going to start giving away an AKG-47 every month to a lucky patron and things like that. Things to make it like, I appreciate it, guys, and so I just wanted to kind of just give back as much as I can. So that's kind of what the future is for this one. Oh, one more thing on the Patreon. We also have a polling system, a voting system, where I give a couple options out when we're looking for a new project, and you guys have the ability to vote on what you want to see us make next. So I think that's really cool, and the Patreon has actually already chosen my next project, and I've already started working on it. So hopefully I will have more news on that soon. But for right now, I'm going to send this out to Tyler, send this to a lucky Patreon winner. Thank you guys so much. Links are in the description, and I will see all of you guys on Thursday. Thanks.
Oh,
Send it.
Hey, not loaded. Didn't load.
That was not very cash money
didn't
of
load
you.
again.
Told you I was going to use it.